Just want to tell you it's going to be okay because it is going to be okay.
I hate them. I hate them.
So
how could I not? I hate them.
You're last year, apparently what I said after the Columbus series is the hardest thing to do is to do nothing. And they did nothing with the core and brought in some pieces, and we all thought, you know what, this is good. And for the season, it looked really good. What hole do you put in this team? But if your team is not scoring from the top, meaning the best players, if Jordan has a bad series, the Bulls fucking lose, man. And you could say, well, the NBA is not the same as hockey. Okay, let's take a bigger team sport. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't complete passes, the Green Bay Packers don't win, right? Well, it won't be the Green Bay Packers for long. If Tom Brady does not complete passes and game manage like he has at fucking 40 million years old with a brand new team, the Buccaneers do not win. This is the thing. Your star players, I don't care what sport it is, your star players must show up. Do I think they're lacking in secondary scoring? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, this comes down to two names, Marner, Matthews. And I put Marner at the top of that because I am not fully convinced. There it is. Now, where do you go from here? Because if you do nothing, here's the other option is, and a lot of people are advocating this, and I understand why, guys. A lot of people say, you know what, do nothing. That's bad luck. What do you say to that?
Well, based on both of your analysis of the forward group, it looks like four guys are going to come back, and that's Tavares, Matthews, Nylander, and Hyman. Those are your four, and the rest are up in the air.
Maybe Spezza too.
And Spezza. So give it five out of 12 at your 12 starters.
Spezza's a team employee who plays.
Right.
And he's such a unique situation.
Yeah. So let's give it 5 out of the 12 to your starters. So more than half of your guys aren't coming back. That's a wholesale change. That's enough. I think where you come back next season, you say, okay, this is a fresh start for a new group of guys. Let's see how this rolls out.
But you gotta now, Jesse. So they're going to bring in a lot of youth. Then I imagine Nick Robertson's going to make this team.
There's one, yeah. There's
one.
There's 6 players.
Rodion and Mirov will get a look.
7.
Potentially 7.
Potentially get a look.
By the way, I would say people are like, what do you do if Mitch Marner goes? If you think you've got a player that's ready in Robertson, wouldn't you put Nylander up with Matthews and then Robertson with Tavares and let him come along?
If Marner stays, put him with Robertson.
That's great.
That'd be cool. I want to see it. Let me see it. Let me just see it.
That'd be sick. Well, imagine Marner, Matthews, and Robertson. That'd be a great line.
Let me see it. God, that'd be fun. Just let me see it. It's the first I've smiled all episode. But so we talked about. I said this before the playoffs began when I actually thought they would do fucking anything. I said I thought they would go younger next season, just kind of at a necessity, and also
they're a little old.
They're a little old, but also if you look at where their prospects are in their development, there are some guys who are pretty near ready, and Adam Brooks, I thought proved he deserves a look at a regular NHL slot.
Mm-hmm.
Robertson certainly, and he had some horrible luck with
Sandin's a full-time player next season.
Sandin's a full-time player.
He probably takes that Riley slot if he's out the door, like you're saying, Steve.
But this core that we all seem to agree has something not right with it is now going to usher these kids into the National Hockey League, and I just don't trust them. I don't trust them to what and I need to be able to take you seriously. I need to have faith in the advice you're giving me. And if I'm Robertson, I'm looking at them going, well, when I was a high school student, I got called up to play in the playoffs because you guys are such a joke. So how about he doesn't even need to be an asshole about it, but there's got to be a voice at the back of his head going, these guys might not be the smartest, or their advice might not be the soundest. You know what I mean? Joe Thornton comes in there. You see the reverence everyone has for him. Spezza. This is why Spezza is so important to the plan. They need someone who's done anything once ever.
Muzzin.
For God's sake.
Spencer
Muzzin
was
helps the
on
back
the
end.
ice the last time the Leafs won a playoff series. They beat him in versus Ottawa in 2004.
Who?
Jason Spezza.
Yeah.
Oh my
He
God.
lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs in 2004.
Oh.
The last time the Leafs won a playoff series, Jason Spezza was on the ice.
I just want to expire.
So he knows
oh my
something
God.
about the Leafs winning.
So
It's unbelievable. And hey, here's a fun little stat. Riley Nash is where the Leafs go to die in the playoffs, because he beat the Leafs as a member of the Boston Bruins. He beat the Leafs as a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And thanks to Aaron Portsline for this tweet, by playing in 2 out of 7 playoff games, which is over 25%, the Leafs' 7th rounder that they gave Columbus turns into a 6th. He played 2 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He played 2.
To be fair,
suck. This
chances
game
are-
sucks. Boo! We should all shout it from the rooftops.
Steve, to be fair, he
What?
played 2 more games than that 6th round pick is probably going to play in the NHL.
Oh, Adam, I need you. Okay, when that 6th round pick wins the Hart, you need to buy their jersey.
Okay,
It's
fair.
not
Done.
necessarily even a 6th round pick. It's he's going to play 2 more games than the upgraded 30 that you get, you know?
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah, well, no, and
big
here's
deal.
what I want to say, guys, is this. You know, if like, you know, I tweeted it out and I got like for me as a lot, 3,000 likes. I said it was very likely Mitch Marner's last game. And I said why, and I also said, hey, it's going to cost him a pile in endorsements. And people are like from Chicago and New York and LA are like, oh, hockey players can get endorsements. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, actually, I do, because in all the cities you just mentioned, hockey's not the dominant sport. And trust me, the numbers here are much bigger than the numbers they would be here for hockey.
It'll cost.
Doesn't mean you
him
can't
his
make money, but you're not going to get the same money, and it's not going to be the same.
It'll cost him his dream.
Yes, it'll cost him his dream. So go with that, Steve. I want to talk about that.
Like, for the guys on the Toronto Maple Leafs who grew up cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs, your dream was to win the Stanley Cup with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You go somewhere else, you win, you hoist it above your head, you know, you bring the cup to the cottage, you celebrate with your friends, you drink out of it, and you get your ring, and for the rest of your life, you'll have that silver medal. And it'll be a great thing. Not everyone wins silver. It's a special thing to win silver. People talk too bad about the silver medal. You know, you worked your entire life and you're the second best in the world at something. You know, I'm being a little facetious about it, but if your dream was to win a cup with the Leafs, it seems so obvious that that's Spezza's goal.
Yeah.
Jason Spezza could go somewhere else and they'd welcome him with open arms. He had 30 points this season in 54 games. He'd be welcomed with open arms. He had as many points as Chris Kreider, I was looking up today.
More than Josh Anderson?
More than Josh Anderson. Like, you should see the players who had the same amount of points as Jason Spezza. Joel Eriksson Ek. Like he's in there with some really good names, like some solid names, far younger names. He could go anywhere, but his dream is so clearly to win the Stanley Cup with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he's got the chance. Not every Leaf fan gets this chance. You know what I mean? Steven Stamkos grew up cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's been on the Lightning his whole career, and he won. Hooray! And I raise it above my head. But maybe winning the cup is your dream, but then winning it with the Leafs is your super dream, and you have your fucking chance, and you're wiping your ass with it. And it kills me as someone who doesn't have the talent. I don't have the talent. We grew up with the same dream, but I never learned how to skate. and like, but you know, like I'm out there in the driveway, I'm by myself, and that was me. And it could be you, and you can make it real.
It goes back
no
to
matter where you go, it won't be here.
The fans care more than the players at the end of the day.
Sure.
Like I 100% believe that you, Steve, care more about winning a Stanley Cup than every guy who played for the Leafs on Monday night. You know, and I wish they had your passion for the team. Would it lead to results? I don't know. Maybe they would be too passionate and would paralyze themselves into oblivion. But who knows?
I want to throw something at you guys. Can I tell you about what I hope? I read a book about hope, and basically it told you to stop hoping. It's a Mark Manson book, and I was like, this book is depressing as hell. He's like, don't
stop hoping.
He's like, don't hope because AI is taking over in a few years anyway. I'm like, okay, well, with the years I got left, I'm going to use some hope. But the thing I hope is that I'm wrong. What I hope is that Kyle Dubas, if he watches this, which he doesn't, goes, fuck you, and keeps the core together, finds a way for these guys to win. Mitch Marner wins the Art Ross. Yep. Matthews wins the Rocket and the Hart.
And we look like
Jack Campbell wins the Vezina, and they steamroll every goddamn team, all of them together, to the Stanley Cup Finals where they win next year. That's what I hope. I hope I'm wrong with Mitch Marner. I don't want to see Mitch Marner traded. This is the thing. When you say like, hey, this is probably his last game. This sucks. Do you think I fucking want to say this? What I want to be talking about is how Mitch Marner matches up with Matthews against Wheeler and Scheifele in round 2. That's what I want.
This is why I get kind of upset sometimes when people quote this show. And I'm like, you just said a tweet. We talked for 2 hours. So here we are now. I don't want Mitch Marner to be traded.
No.
I want him to hoist the Stanley Cup above his head as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And live his dream, right, Steve?
And live his dream.
And yours.
And help me realize mine. I know I'll never be on that fucking team. I'd like him to help me realize my dream of watching the Leafs, of covering the Leafs, winning the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
But this year's team that looked so ready, couldn't do it, and now we got to look at options.
It's not even that they couldn't do it. They couldn't win one more game.
They could do it, and that's what's so fucking crazy.
They could, and they didn't
absolutely
do it.
Fucking could.
And
they could.
Undisputable fact, Game 7 was their worst game.
Without question.
Again, the third straight playoff series. So, is it a feature or a bug?
I don't know. I mean,
11-2 for God's sake. Any other team. Okay. So we're talking about the Leafs here because we watch them the closest, but we dabble around the league. Any other team, we see them. We see that they've been outscored 11-2 in deciding games over their past 3 deciding games. We go, oh yeah, no, they need to blow it up. Oh yeah, no, there's something wrong there. The combination's not right. They need to do anything. Even a trade that will look like the wrong decision at the time will at least be something. And then we move forward. I saw a great discussion. It was the Bruins of like the early 2000s, and it was like first round exit, missed the playoffs, first round exit, second round exit, first round exit, missed the playoffs, first round exit, something like that. Like it wasn't good. They I think got into the second round once in like 10 years. But they still won it. And then I think it was Jay Fresh on Twitter was like, yeah, but they traded Blake Wheeler, Phil Kessel, Joe Thornton, Sergei Samsonov. Like they traded astoundingly good players.
Let Byron Defoe walk. Like there was a huge roster turnover with big
Lord
players.
Byron.
And they won. That was the Tim Thomas when they won it, right?
Yeah. And
who came out of nowhere at the age of 400 to win a fucking playoff series.
And sometimes you fall ass backwards into a 12th round pick of the Nordiques who's in his 30s.
Right.
But around Tim Thomas was Patrice Bergeron and Zdeno Chara and a young Brad Marchand and a young Tyler Seguin and like they were a very, very good team on paper. They were a top 10 team analytically that year, if I remember correctly. Canucks were way better, but the Bruins were still up there, but they also got out of this world goaltending. Rask was the starter the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sports. I'm waiting for that. When do the Leafs fall ass backwards into any kind of fortune like that? When is there hilarious moment where you go, I this makes no sense.
Your Hamburglar moment.
Can I?
Yes. Fuck. Great point. When do they go on a 20-2 run with an AHL backup? Like,
well, they have Jack Campbell, who was a surprise this year. Although if you look at his underlying numbers, you think, well, he probably was capable of this. So you didn't fall ass backwards into it, but it's a positive. But you're right.
There was at least some inkling of this guy could end up being our starter.
Well, yeah, because he took a shitty LA team and still had a crazy save percentage.
Tim Thomas was there because like Hannu Toivonen wasn't who they expected him to be. And if you're going, who the fuck is that? Exactly.
So at the end of the day, let me leave you with this. The hardest thing to do is to do nothing. And if the Leafs do not trade Mitch Marner and I am incorrect, I'm happy. I'm happy to be incorrect. And I'm even happier if they go out and tear it up next year. I'm happiest still if they do it in the playoffs. That is what I want. That is what Jesse wants. That is what Steve wants. Yes. Do not misquote us on this. We want this team with these players who we've invested now 6-7 years into. I mean, God, Nylander's been around since 2015. It's 2021.
I'm into...
I mean, we're halfway through 2021, by the way. This is month number 6. So, I remember Steve writing one of his first articles for Sportsnet, and it was about Zach Hyman, some kid that they'd fallen ass backwards into, actually, believe it or not.
I'm going to be inconsolable if they lose Zach Hyman for nothing.